has two more motions to make a ruling on. But as you said, that Judge Gill has really already made these rulings, and it's almost a disgrace to his credit as a judge to go back to.
I would agree. I think the arguments that were made, if I were Judge Carroll, would be insulted because they argued that he didn't give a thorough consideration to all of the elements of the cause of action, which is clearly not true. His decision was very well written, very reasoned, and I think he took his time putting it together. So I think they're just seeking another opportunity to raise the same arguments, and they should fall.
Are you concerned that, I don't want to call it a waste of time, but that they'll continue to drag things out with motions?
Well, if the court denies their motions, then there's nothing more they can do to stop it from moving forward. We'll continue with the discovery phase and ultimately trial. It's a victory. We're happy to have it. We fought hard to get it. We've been fighting for over a year to get that letter.
And once you have that letter, we've heard some of the phrases, some of the wordings that were written in that letter. How do you think that will help the case moving forward?
Well, the letter suggests that Roberta Laundrie would, if she needed to bury a body, she'd bring up a shovel and garbage bags. It said that if she went to jail, she'd make a cake with a file, and I know, of course, I said shiv, but that was my recollection from a year ago. It does say file. So, in my mind, that clearly shows that she knew that Gabby Petito was deceased, and it's up to the jury to decide when that letter was written. Just because Mrs. Laundrie says it was written before the trip doesn't mean it was written before the trip.
For the family, too, not having Ryan alive to go to trial, how will this continue to help with some, not closure completely, but just closing out that chapter?
Well, the whole intent of this is to get answers. There are still many questions that the Petito family has about what the Laundrie family knew, what they did with the knowledge that they knew, and really why they didn't come forward and say anything. I don't know that question will ever get answered because the court has found had the right not to say anything. But there's a lot of questions that the family would like to have answered before they can get closure at all in a situation like this, but at least get some closure. All right.
Thank you.
Did you just say your name and spell it so we get it correct?
Matt Luca, Luka.
I guess, how are you feeling after all the motions? We know that the judge is going to move on two other motions as well. Just how you feel moving forward?
Oh, well, it was obviously a long day, and we appreciate Judge Brewer giving us as much time as we needed to take. She was very accommodating in that regard. I feel pretty good. I feel about as good as I did walking in. We were able to make all of our arguments, and hopefully they'll be persuasive.
Yeah, with letting them use the letter as well, we know that the letter has now been handed over to Mr. Riley. What are your concerns in that aspect?
Well, obviously we were concerned about how the letter might be used, that it could be embarrassing and whatnot. But it's part of the case now. It's part of discovery. And so I'm sure it's something that we will address again as the case progresses.
Is there anything else you'd like to say about that letter? Because we know that we were told that there was references to children's books, but just hearing Mr. Riley, it didn't sound like that. Yeah,
we disagree with Mr. Riley's characterization. So within the letter, you'll see that there are references. I know Mr. Riley referenced two things in the letter that, taken out of context could be inflammatory, but they appear in a series of sort of fanciful descriptions of how much somebody would love somebody else. So, for example, there's a reference in there about if Brian went to the moon, his mother would be waiting for him to come back. If Brian hated his mother's guts, that she would get new guts. Things that are obviously not real. They're just fanciful descriptions, again, of how somebody would love somebody no matter what. And so in that context, we believe that the letter, as Mrs. Laundrie said, was written prior to Brian and Gabby's trip. The letter doesn't reference Gabby in any way, which would be unlikely if it was written after what happened between Gabby and Brian. So that's our position, and we believe the facts will eventually bear that out.
Can you prove that the letter wasn't given to Brian on his flight back to Moab?
again, other than what Mrs. Laundrie has stated in her affidavit, that's our proof. There's certainly no proof that she gave it to him at that time.
I just don't think that they would put burn after reading if it was just a letter to your son.
Well, so if you look at Mrs. Laundrie's affidavit, she states in there that that's a reference to a book that Gabby had given Brian. It was called Burn After Writing. And basically the premise of that book is you could write your personal thoughts down and have that outlet, but then you burn it after writing it so that it gives you some closure to whatever it is that you were describing without other people knowing your personal thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
AV Stat Media, all 4K video equipment with 35mm super capture chips, cinematography video cameras, full-frame chip 52 megapixel photography cameras, better for cropping and editing photos, professionally dressed and trained crew.
All right, we're the Hernandezes, and Stat Media was the bomb. We love them to death. Wouldn't have anybody else do any videography for the world.
I'm very happy with the services provided. They were on time. They look professional.
Shooting over 350 events a year. Weddings, quinces, birthday parties, legal videos, and entrusted by many law firms. The very best bonding streaming equipment for live streams to pick up internet anywhere with as many as 4 SIM cards and SpaceX. See our shout-out video on our website from the past clients and 5-star reviews across many platforms. Why hire the rest when you can hire the best? avstatmedia.com, licensed and insured.